Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tina Zink and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I live in Nova Scotia, Canada. And if you're returning, welcome back. I can't wait to share today's technique with you. I'm going to demonstrate quilting with paper. I'm not a quilter, I love quilts, but I love this technique using paper to create a quilted look. Today I'm going to be creating a card on the fly, as I like to do, using our new Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder and some gorgeous designer series paper. So I can't wait to get started, but I first want to remind you, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It helps support my YouTube channel. I love creating these videos for you. So go ahead and do that. And if you want to, click the little bell next to it and then you're notified every time I upload a new video, which I do weekly. Sometimes more. Anyhow, let's get stamping. So if you've seen any of my videos, quite often I just create cards while I'm filming and you watch the creative process as it comes together. This is going to be another one of those videos. Now I do know that on today's card I want to use some of our gorgeous new Parisian Blossoms Specialty Designer Series paper. So this is part of our new Parisian Sweet Blossoms in our 2020 catalog. And it's on page 15, so you can see the beautiful paper here. And I want to show you the patterns. And this is specialty because we have the silver laminate on this. It's really, really pretty. And here's the back side of it. Another one. The colors are so pretty. Love this one. The reverse side, and this is pretty too. They're all pretty. I love, love, love this package of designer series paper. That one's upside down. It's got beautiful script in French. It's got bonjour and merci and Paris, armoire, all different beautiful, beautiful things on that paper. So I am going to use this pattern. I'm going to use that pattern, and I'm going to use this pattern. So because these are double-sided, I actually have 6 different patterns that I'm going to be using on this card. So for this project, you're going to need 1 by 1 inch squares. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my paper into 1 by 12 inch strips, and then I'm going to take those strips and cut them again at the 1 inch mark so that I get my little 1 by 1 squares. So I will be right back. Okay, so I have all my squares. There's quite a few here. I cut 3 1 by 12 strips. So, and I think there were what, 3 or 4 pieces of paper. So I have quite a few squares here. I'm not going to need all of these, but I can get a lot of different cards out of them. Now, along with this gorgeous designer series paper, I know that I want to use my little Ladybug Stamp Set. This adorable stamp set is exclusive with qualifying orders as a host reward order during celebration. It is super, super cute, and I know I want to incorporate it on today's card. So we'll see how that goes, but I can't wait to stamp with this. So in choosing the color for my card base, I can see here that Cherry Cobbler, Petal Pink, and Pool Party are part of the colors. But guess what? Look at what Stampin' Up! Has done this year. They make it even easier than reading that. They've got a nice visual right here showing the colors that are in our designer series paper pack. So I love this new little addition that they've done to our catalogs. So I chose Cherry Cobbler as my card base. So I'm going to first score this at 4 1/4 and then flip it around and cut it at 5 1/2. So I will have 2 card bases. Okay, now I have all of my pattern pieces in little piles. I just grabbed this cardstock out of my scrap paper bin, and it doesn't matter what you use for this base because this is going to get covered with all your designer series paper. So this measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and once we're all done, we can trim it down to fit onto our card base. All right, I am using my liquid glue. I'm using the wide end. The other end is more fine tip. But I'm going to use the wide end and just add a couple rows of glue. Not too much, but enough. Just covering it. And I like to use the liquid glue for this because it gives you a bit of wiggle room for moving these around. So now what I want to do is line up these 2 corners, these corners here, with the bottom edge. So I'm lining up this point with this corner and this point with the bottom corner. We'll move into a different color. So I'm not a quilter. I know I have a lot of quilters who watch my channel and they also stamp. And if that's you, you've probably done something similar to this. But while I have never quilted, I must say I love this technique. It is so relaxing and it's just a fabulous way to use up our little bits of scrap paper as well. But today I wanted to cut into this gorgeous new designer series paper to use. So if done correctly, every corner should line up. And then it's just a matter of filling in the gaps. Okay, here is my finished piece. Isn't that pretty? So a couple of squares went on a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I just used my take your pick tool and just kind of lifted them up and repositioned them. So they're not totally perfect, but that's okay. It's going to be so pretty when it's done. It's already gorgeous. I love these colors. So what I'm going to do now is cut this down to measure 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm just going to move these pieces out of the way and I'm going to save those for another project. I'm going to cut the excess off before I cut this down. So I'm just going to move that aside. I mean, even these pieces that get cut off can be used for a similar quilting technique. Use these for cute little banners on a card or a scrapbook page. Nothing gets wasted. Alrighty, so now I'm going to trim this down. So I want it to be even on each side. I don't want to take off a full 1/4 of an inch on one side. So I'm going to take off 1/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. Pretty that is. But you know what? We're going to make this even more amazing. This is our new Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder, and I used this in my last video and I have to tell you, it's so phenomenal. I love this so much. And I am going to run this through and add some texture so it looks like it's been quilted. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that the raised side is on the bottom of my card so that the bumps raise up. So I always think of it as bumps on bottom. So this is the bumps on the bottom. So I'm just going to put that right there, close it, and there's kind of a flower in the center, so I'm going to try to line that up with the center square there. Oh my gosh, this is already gorgeous and I haven't even run this through yet. I get so excited. I think that's good enough. Okay, so I'm just using my multi-purpose platform. This is an old one. This is the one that I got years ago when I first got my big shot. So you may have to play around with your platforms that you're using, but this one works for me. So then I just put this on here without a plate underneath it, but I will put a plate on top of it and then run it through. Look. Oh, that's the reverse side. Oh my goodness. Love, love, love this embossing folder. Look. Can you see all that embossed images? Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it so much. Oh, I knew I had to put the camera on to film this for you guys. I'm so glad that I did because I'm so happy with that. All right, let's bring in our cherry cobbler card base. And since I have my glue here, I'm just going to use that, but you can use your snail adhesive or any adhesive that you have, of course. I have so many ideas for this embossing folder, friends. I know I'm going to be making a lot more videos with just this embossing folder and different ways and techniques that that we can use with this embossing folder. Okay, let's put this on. Oh, I love that cherry cobbler. It just pulls it all together. And I think I want my card to go this way as opposed to this way, but both landscape and portrait look pretty, but I am going to do the landscape. I've also heard other demonstrators refer to this as the hamburger or the hot dog. So whatever you want to call it, I'm doing it the landscape way. Okay, so I'm just pulling in my Stamparatus, and if you remember at the beginning of the video, I wanted to use my little ladybug. I'm going to use this one because it almost looks like that ladybug is holding that same flower. Oh my goodness, I didn't even plan that. Oh my gosh. Okay, get that little guy out. And I'm going to cut this, I do believe, with a circle die. So I'm going to give that a little bit of space right there, and I'll figure out the sentiment afterwards. Okay, magnet. Down we go. Oh my gosh, I'm having way too much fun. So I'm going to use my StazOn ink pad. Push down. Now that's pretty nice and crisp and bright, but when one has the Stamparatus and has the option of stamping again on top of it, you don't want to waste that opportunity. Now it's really nice and crisp and bright. All right, that guy is good to go. So I'm going to use my cherry cobbler to color my ladybug. And again, that all worked out really well because I never even thought about the colors I use on my ladybug when using this designer series paper. So I lucked out there as well. Oh, look at that puddle of ink. Alrighty, let's pick some of that ink up with my aqua painter and just start coloring this little guy in, or little girl I should say, because you know it's a ladybug. What color is a ladybug's belly, you guys? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, I'm looking in my Sale-a-bration catalog, and it looks like they just have gray on this little guy's belly. This one looks like they've got a bit of pink, and it's got pink wings. This one has yellow wings, so anything goes. So we are going to go with this look, because then that's going to pull out some of the gray that's in this card. So that's my theory there. I'm just going back and forth on my scrap paper until there's no more ink left on the tip of my aqua painter. Oh, you guys, I just bought a whole new set of aqua painters. I bought my first set, I think, like I've been a demonstrator almost 18 years, and I've only ever bought the one set of aqua painters that I have. So they're old, and they have lasted me really, really well. But I must say, I'm excited to get a new set. Okay, I am using, what am I using? Smoky Slate. And this is going to be for my ladybug's belly. It's very subtle. And then I'm gonna again go back on the side to add a little shading. And you know what? I'm just copying what Stampin' Up! Has on their sample in the catalog, because I've personally never colored a ladybug before. So that's what I'm doing. I love how we get our inspiration from all the samples that Stampin' Up! Provides us. Alright, I'm now going in with Petal Pink, And if you recall, that was one of the colors in this designer series pack. So that's perfect for my little ladybug's cute little face. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of ink on my square block, and that's how I pull the ink from my new style ink pads as opposed to the old style, because they were easier to squeeze and then get that ink on the lid. And with the newer styles, I simply just put a little bit on a block. So I'm gonna go back and forth, make sure that's clean, and pick up some of that ink and then just fill in my little ladybug's face. I'm actually going to pull in some Blushing Bride because I want little cheeks on this girl. And pick up some color. Those little cheeks make a difference, I'll tell you. Now, I'm actually going to pick up some more of this Petal Pink and just add a little bit to my little lady's belly. Blend that in with the gray. So the belly was Smoky Slate. I am now taking basic gray and I'm going to use that for the little legs and arms. Use a blender pen or markers, our Stampin' Blends, our watercolor pencils. We have so many different options for coloring. I just love using my aqua painter. Alright, the next color in this beautiful designer series paper is Pool Party. So that is the color I'm going to use for my flower. And then everything will tie in together with my designer series paper, and that is key, I do believe, with our Stampin' Up! Products, is the color coordination between our inks and papers and ribbons, everything. Ooh, good thing I'm going back and forth. There's a lot of ink still left on that one. There we go. And pick up some Pool Party and color my little flower. Okay, can you see how cute my little ladybug is? Oh, alright, now I have to figure out what I'm gonna cut this little one out with. Look what I did, you guys. As I went up to my die cutting machine, I was going for my circles and I thought, you know what, hearts would be adorable. So these are the two dies I used. These are from the Be Mine Stitched Framelits collection. So I used those, and then I decided to pull out my new Parisian dies. Now these match the Parisian Beauty stamp set, which is part of that suite of the same designer series paper that I used. But I just thought, wouldn't this little armoire, which is Love in French, be sweet on here as well? So I haven't popped this out yet, so I'm just using my Take Your Pick tool. And I did this on basic black, and I did this heart on cherry cobbler. And then there was another die in here. Whoops, let me put this back so I don't lose it. This one here, I thought, how is that going to look? And I did that on my silver foil paper, and look how beautiful that little scroll is. So I'm going to use all of this on my card. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I think I want to raise this little guy up on dimensionals. If you ever have troubles getting the backings off your dimensionals, just push your nail in the middle and it will lift up. Okay, let's put this little guy on. It's fun creating with you guys as I'm filming. Not sure how it's all gonna come out as I get glue all over my fingernails, but yeah, it's just keeping it real and you can see the creative process. I feel like this is a little bit blank around here, but that's okay because we're gonna add some swirls and that armoire. So let me take my little silicone mat and put my die cut upside down on that. And now I'm just taking a little bit of glue and putting it on a Stampin' Sponge. And this is how I personally like to add these little intricate die cuts. Works for me. Take that off. Oh gosh, I need to put my heart on the card first. Let's put that back over here. So I don't want to cover up this middle flower, so my heart is going to go over the edge of the card just ever so slightly, and I want him tilted. There we go. Alright. Now we can put this on. Silver also ties in the silver that's on the specialty paper as well, which is perfect. And I'm just going to pick a tiny little rhinestone, put that in the center of the flower. And I still think it needs a little something something. I think there's a little bit too much white on that heart. But so I am pulling my smoky slate back out. And I'm just going to go around my ladybug just to add a bit of a shadow. That little tiny little bit of gray does make a difference, and because I can't resist my dazzling diamonds, I'm going to add a little bit to the black spots on the wings. Paper for inside the card, which I will stamp and sign later. So I'm going to keep playing with this quilt background and make some more cards, and I'm going to use some different stamp sets. So I hope you enjoyed today's card tutorial. If you haven't already, please remember to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and happy stamping.